It's really important to stand up for what's right.
Yeah.
And to push back and ask questions.
Hey friends, welcome to Currently the Conversation. It's brought to you by TVC Cherry Capital Airport, your Northern Michigan connection. I'm Christal Frost, and today I am genuinely excited because we're talking about something that affects all of us, our homes, and the dream of making them better, safer, and more livable. My guest today is Lauren Tucker, the Chief Executive Officer of the Home Builders Association of Northwest Michigan. And if you've been paying attention to what's happening locally around housing, we're talking building, costs, and growth, Lauren is one of those people helping guide those conversations forward. And we're also talking about one of my other favorite kinds of community events, the HBA's Traverse City Home Expo, and that is at the Grand Traverse Resort happening February 14th and 15th. Lauren, welcome to the show.
Hi, Christal. Thanks for having me.
I'm so happy to have you. I mean, first of all, I have to say we go way back.
Oh, yes.
And I'm so excited to have you here in this capacity, but just also because you have been one of those people in this community that pops up in a lot of different avenues. Mm-hmm. And every time I'm like, oh yeah, she's on it though. You know, like you've done a lot of things.
It's the ADHD coming out, you know.
But like you're so good.
Oh, thank you.
At what you do. And so when, you went into the arena of Home Builders Association, I was like, that makes total sense.
I was really, really excited when that opportunity came to me. I wasn't looking for it. But I've been around the HBA since I got started in my career in 2007. Yeah. I sold them their advertising for their events and to help support their membership. And then my husband became a member, and I was, his plus one, his arm candy, going to the different parties. And it was a natural fit. I love construction. I love residential construction. I think the folks that work in that industry are the most creative problem solvers you'll ever meet.
And honestly, so incredibly hardcore. I just want to say that. I mean, we all like sit back and look at the weather and we're like, oh, it's cold. And you're in your office. No.
Yeah.
People are out there working.
This has been an unbelievably brutal winter for that specifically, not only the temperatures, but the amount of snow that we've gotten. And it's like I was talking to a builder earlier today who's getting excited about the Parade of Homes coming up in June. And he's just wondering about the deadlines and whatnot, because he's like, I'm like a month behind with this weather we've been having lately.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you kind of have to be.
Yeah.
I love that you have this job now, but I want people to meet you. Mm-hmm. So when someone asks you to describe yourself, how do you respond?
That's a tough one because I don't really like talking about myself. But I'm passionate. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like it's really important to stand up for what's right.
Yeah. And
to push back and ask questions. I'm a Traverse City native. I've lived here pretty much my whole life.
That's right.
My family moved up here. My dad was asked to come help revitalize a bank, Empire National Bank, in 1983. I was 6 months old when we moved up here, and we've been here ever since. And like when I graduated, I didn't apply anywhere else. I was going to Michigan State. My big brothers were there. My family has such a history there. Mm-hmm. And it was coming right back home.
Yeah. And you've stayed.
Yeah.
Which is so, I mean, I think it's so special that people can do that now.
Yeah.
And part of the reason that you can do that, though, is opportunities, right? And that's, a lot of times your members are building literally those opportunities.
Yeah. And I mean, I have been really lucky to be able to provide a life for my family and be able to stay in this beautiful area. And like, I can't imagine raising my family anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's Traverse City's it for me.
So when you think about your job, what is the best part of your job? What's the part that actually lights you up?
Well, there's a lot of really cool parts of my job, but I will tell you my very favorite thing is the people that I serve, the members that I get to hang out with. I do get paid to do my job, and they don't. They're all volunteers, whether they're our leaders or committee members. We're a completely member-led organization.
Wow.
I carry out their initiatives, obviously give guidance and support and advice on what I think should happen. But it's up to them, and they show up for it. And it makes it really easy for me to show up.
Yeah. What do you think is one of the things that people misunderstand about the Home Builders Association?
Well, no one knows what we do, Christal.
I was going to say, I was trying to come up with a nicer way of saying, like,
I wish that it was more simple to explain it, but honestly, like, we are the industry's watchdog and advocate. We're their voice. Together, their voice is so much stronger. And it's challenging. It's a small town.
Yeah.
You interact with a lot of different government agencies and elected officials. And it's a different arena than like for profit.
Yeah.
Right. And so the sense of urgency isn't really there, or sometimes someone thinks they're doing something good, but it really has a lot of unintended consequences that can create a lot of cost or challenges for folks that are just trying to improve their home or realize the American dream. And that's where we come in. So we are their voice. We fight for them. And then we're also a great resource for the community. And I think that might be the thing that people don't understand is we're not just for builders.
Yeah.
It's every part of that industry. And if you have a question about how something should work or who you need to talk to, we're a great resource for that.
Yeah. You mentioned being that you grew up here in Traverse City and you raised your family here. And you and your husband have been involved in the building industry since what, 2006?
Yeah. Yep. My husband was actually in lending. He holds like all of the licenses for stockbroker and insurance. And he was giving loans out in 2006, 2007. And he came home and was like, I can't do it anymore and quit my job. And I was like, what? I just graduated college and I'm still waiting tables and hadn't gotten my big break yet.
Right.
And he's just like, I can't give another bad loan to someone. This is all going to come crashing down. And
boy, he was right.
He was right. He was right. And he's an entrepreneur by heart. And I never really worry because I know he's going to figure it out. He's always got a plan. And we went into reclaiming homes for foreclosures.
Wow.
Yeah, and that slowly translated into roofing because you always need to replace a roof on your house. And that was a really challenging time for residential construction. So then later in his career, he went back into the supply side. And he's worked for a couple different companies, but he's been breathing new life into Kingsley Lumber now since 2018.
Oh, that's fantastic. That kind of gives you like that inside the industry, which I'm assuming with your membership, when you have that inside lived experience, it gives you a little bit more. I would say like they take you a little more seriously. Would you agree with that?
I think so because like we do live it. We face the same challenges that my members do. We work really hard not to compete with them in our businesses where we are working in construction. And it's just a level of understanding.
Right. Yeah.
And what's really, truly important in that industry.
And you have the passion. It's very clear. When you said, if I have to describe myself, if I have to talk about myself, I'd probably use the word passion. I can attest to that. What are you most passionate about right now when you think specifically about housing in your hometown, Northern Michigan?
Well, I'm really excited about a couple of projects that we've got coming up, and one of them's on our foundation side, and it's workforce development.
Yes.
That is a huge area where we need more growth. We need more people working in the skilled trades, or we're going to be in a situation far worse than we're in now with the housing shortage. And specifically in Northern Michigan, we're on the way to nothing. You don't come here and land here by mistake. So we're not getting that transient traffic, and it's more expensive to get materials here. It's more expensive to live here. And that balance makes it challenging for someone getting started in the trades to be successful.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple of programs where we can help them remove barriers, give scholarships to help them cover the cost of their test or any of their learning materials or their courses.
Right.
But more than that, like if you need a pair of boots or you need to help fund getting your tools or gas to get to work.
Oh, wow.
We have a granting program that we're kicking off for that called Tools for the Trade.
Oh, cool.
Which is awesome. And like that's something that I really feel passionate about because I've always felt very strongly about education. And when I think about giving back to the community, that's always a place where I've leaned, whether it be financial education with junior achievement or working in the mental health industry or in construction. And it's very sad to me that there isn't that on-the-job or career-based learning available in schools anymore.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it was when I was growing up, but that was like, I think that we were the last generation.
I think we were, because I remember like going through Triangle in middle school where and it was graphic design at the time. It wasn't even, it was the shop class, it was the home ec side, and then it wasn't finance, it was graphic design with floppy disks.
Oh, those floppy disks. You know, the need is really there, and I don't know if I remember this correctly, but I do know that I've heard this from you, in that the average age of the contractor, that construction professional, is right around mid-50s now.
It's mid to late 50s, and it's creeping closer and closer to 60.
When you talk about, we're going to be even worse off than where we are now, and we all know that there is a housing shortage in Michigan in general, but specifically in northern Michigan, that is a huge piece. Because if you don't have those people who are filling those gaps.
Yeah, you have people exiting the workforce much faster than you have those that are entering the workforce. Wow. And like if you're thinking about licensed builders in the state of Michigan, those over the age of 50 are in the tens of thousands, and those under the age of 30 are in the 1,000.
Oh, wow.
So it's a very upside down situation right now.
And we need to attract more young people into the trades.
We do.
Do you think that the way that people, especially young people, think about the trades is changing?
I really do. And I think this next generation, there's a lot of data that supports that this next generation is very future focused. They want to have an impact. They want to see what they're building and creating. So you are seeing a lot more interest in the trades, which is great. And like that puts us to the next problem, which is capacity.
Yeah.
I mean, we have an amazing program with Northwest Ed in the Career Tech Center, and we're so lucky to have construction management at NMC.
Yeah.
It hasn't always been there.
Right.
And the HBA has been a huge part of supporting and making sure that happens. But we can only service so many people.
Right.
And the teachers aren't there.
Right.
Like Tom Sensabaugh, who runs that program at Northwest Ed, or North Ed, excuse me, I wish I could clone him.
Yes.
Because, I mean, he's not going to work forever, and there isn't somebody that's like waiting to step in and take that. Because most of the instructors that work in trades programs work all day and then teach at night.
Oh, wow.
And there's a high rate of burnout because it is very demanding and there isn't a lot of reward.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, your students love you and say thank you, and you get a paycheck, but it is demanding and grueling. It's a lot of long hours. I mean, you work all day and then you start class at 6, you're there till 10.
Wow.
And it's impossible to have those classes during the day because those that are working in the trades are typically working while they're learning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I never thought about that.
Yeah, we can service 52 kids the North Ed ISD in construction. It's just not enough.
One of the things I'm sure you hear from your members over and over again, though, is that they need staff, right?
Yep.
So if you're only able to train 52 kids at a time, they're going to get swept up pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
there's waiting lists. There's waiting lists, and honestly, our evil friends in commercial construction across the aisle, that's a very attractive industry because it's a lot bigger. There's more opportunity, and it's typically can be higher earning right away. Not always, but that is a challenge, and you see that happening across all the higher learning opportunities for trades programs.
I think it's interesting too, and I mean, I grew up with, everyone in my family worked in the trades, and I'm so thankful for that because I do think that it gave me a sense of I know how to do certain things, right? Like I can look at something and say, oh, I know how to fix that, or I know this, or I understand some of the processes. But I do think that, one of the things that is difficult about when you have someone who maybe is running a crew is that they have to know everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, a trim carpenter is, is worth his weight in gold for sure. But you also have to have framers and you have to have roofers and everybody else. And when you have such a staff that is shrinking, all of a sudden everybody become literal jacks of all trades.
Yep. And it can be a real challenge for people out on the other side, the consumers, to know who to trust. And like licensure and insurance is very, very important.
Yeah.
You see a lot of stories in the news recently, most recently out of Manistee County, where there's been a couple of bad actors.
Yes.
And luckily, if they get caught and they're, found to be guilty, you go to jail, right?
Right.
But a lot of times they're not caught. And I get a lot of calls from people that are like, I gave a deposit and I never heard from someone. And that breaks my heart.
Yeah.
And that's challenging for a homeowner. There is a gentleman with a half-built home in Manistee. He calls me all the time. He's like, Lauren, I just can't get a builder to take my project. And the sad truth of it is he's probably not going to.
Wow.
Because of the liability that builder would assume on that project could cripple or destroy his business. It's not worth the risk.
My gosh.
So their attorneys would say, you can't do that. So like that leaves someone in a really tough spot. He had a contractor who wasn't licensed, who wasn't acting right. He was able to get him off his job, but now he's stuck with this structure that he probably needs to knock down.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's really important when you are taking on big projects as a homeowner to understand like who you're dealing with, checking licensure through the state of Michigan, calling references and making sure that they're a good egg. And then, that's a huge protection for you.
I think another thing that obviously we've heard a lot about the housing crisis, but we've also heard about the lack of affordable housing. And I really want to clarify that building isn't cheap.
Oh, no.
It is legitimately high costs for lots and lots of reasons. And so I think that maybe if you're just sort of listening to this and saying, well, they should just build, just do it. I mean, we need to, if you want to find something that is maybe affordable to a family under a certain level of income, that's going to be really hard to do from just, maybe your average home builder.
Yeah.
Right?
It's challenging because the assumption is like, oh, well, you'll just build it cheaper. And that's not true.
Yeah.
Because every house needs a kitchen and a bathroom. And those are the two most expensive rooms in a house due to the appliances, the fixtures, all of the plumbing, wiring, everything that goes into that. So you already have that base cost. And there's different grades of lumber, but that's not going to dramatically change your cost. So that's one of the misconceptions. Thinking about how you position your house can help with that.
Yeah.
More compact, one bathroom, kitchen all together in one area. The days of like the sprawl and whatnot are no longer. So you're seeing people do that, but the materials cost what they cost.
Yeah. And
the answer to affordable or attainable housing is never going to be to ask the people that are doing the work to make less money.
Right.
Because, you would never ask any other profession to do their job and make less money.
Yeah.
So when I think about that equation, you really have to look at getting more people to do the job, because you can affect that. You're never going to affect the cost of materials or the cost of land that's determined by the market, and working on that regulatory space.
Yes.
That is a huge portion of why housing is expensive.
I've known people on the codes and standards sides of things, and I think I want to say this out loud. I think they're good people.
Yeah.
I think they go, you know what? I want to make this safer. But I think, and this happens in every industry you'll ever encounter, you have someone at the top in a very macro way saying, we should do this. And they don't understand the trickle-down effect. And then once that code or standard is then implemented, there might be some results that they didn't really think about. And I remember this happening in the construction trades world when it was all about energy efficiency. And then you had these really energy efficient homes that had no ventilation.
Yep.
That was not something that people thought about.
Right.
And yet this is something the builder has to do.
Yep.
They have to do things this way, or they're going to be found, liable, right?
Yep.
They won't pass inspection, but there are homes with no ventilation.
Right. Yeah. So
Unintended consequences.
those are those unintended consequences where something seems like a good idea. And I truly believe building as efficiently as you can and doing as little harm to the environment as you can, obviously, is very important. Take care of Mother Earth.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's just certain things that need to happen. And like the air exchange and flow through a house is incredibly important.
Really important.
And also in those homes, like in those cases, if there was water damage, they weren't finding it because it was so sealed.
Oh, wow.
So that was another issue. And the code should be so focused on just health and safety. Health and safety, all the other stuff that is the extras and talking about design standards and how things should be done, that has no business being in a code or, in my opinion, a zoning ordinance.
Yeah, right. Kevin Klein, Executive Director, TVC Cherry Capital Airport. Why don't you brag a little bit? Tell us about your incredible airport.
Well, first of all, it starts with community. Those that fly Cherry Capital Airport, it's our community. And so that's what makes it very special to us. And it represents not only the building itself, represents the people. It's all, trying to create that relaxed feel going through. So the architecture is that Frank Lloyd Wright prairie style architecture that makes you feel like you're sitting in your living room.
It does.
Has a fireplace.
People love that fireplace.
It's great to cozy up, especially on the winter travel days, but in the summer days, it's a great place to tell people where to meet. And so, we offer all those amenities. Wi-Fi throughout the building. We have a great cafe with Cherry Country Cafe and gift shop that offers all kinds of local products, including alcohol. So you can have that last minute drink before you head out on the flight. That gives you that northern Michigan feel, whether it's wine or mixed drinks. You have that all up here. So we have all the amenities that people want, and then to be able to relax in a nice hold room that is surrounded by art from the local community.
Yeah.
So when I say it's the community's airport, it's the community that puts that investment into making the airport itself, from the experience of parking all the way to getting on board the aircraft. And then on the way back, you land, you follow that red carpet right on out, and then into our lovely northern Michigan world.
Now, how can people find you?
They can find us at tvcairport.com.
I want to shift gears a little bit because you're not just doing this association work. You also have a podcast, the Building Better podcast. And I just have to say, because this is from one podcaster to another podcaster, what made you decide that you wanted to start a show?
Well, we thought it would be a really incredible way to share our message in small bites, get to know our members, share more about our industry, explain some of these issues that you've brought up too, because there are a lot of misconceptions. Like, why does it cost so much, and how can that be, and how does it happen? And we're really excited to shift this next year into using it as an education platform as well. You talked about like the high efficiency and the green building movement. That's still around. We call it high performance building now. And it has gone so much farther because we've learned all those things. So we are kicking into our high performance building series, where you can tune in and learn a little bit about what goes into heating and cooling, windows, siding, all those different things and those different techniques.
You were talking about the most I say most important too, because the bathroom and kitchen are very important, but most expensive, rooms in the house. And
every house has them.
Every single house has them. And, I think, unfortunately, we had a flood a number of years ago. And fortunately, we had, great insurance providers. We worked with some really great members of the HBA to get that taken care of. But I remember really feeling overwhelmed by that process.
Oh, yeah. We just had a leak at the HBA office.
Yeah. And I mean, just seriously overwhelmed of to the point where I was like, I don't care. Just you do it. And I was so lucky to be working with people who were like, no, let's just slow down.
Yeah.
This is your house. Yeah. And it was in my kitchen. And they were like, you have a chance to change some things. You look at the sort of the silver lining. But if I didn't have someone who said, slow down, because I was just getting like, I don't care, put whatever in there. and really hold your hand. And thankfully, I mean, I found them through the HBA.
Yeah. The builders and contractors oftentimes are also the marriage counselors and the emotional support people that talk you through these decisions, because it can feel very overwhelming, and you're making decisions that you're going to have to live with. And what if you don't like it?
Yeah.
And they're very skilled at that, because they know how to ask you those questions and help lead you to, well, what do you want to do in this room? What's the most important function? And then they can build around that and make suggestions.
Yeah. And, I will also say conflict resolution is something that every builder I've ever met has. I mean, they just know how to do it, because you're not just dealing with maybe the couple that is, but also the individual conflict resolution, where in the morning you say, yes, we're going with this tile. And in the afternoon you say, okay, I changed my mind.
Yeah.
We have to make a decision.
I was teasing a couple of my members. My parents are remodeling their house right now, and they have changed their kitchen cabinet colors like 3 or 4 times. And I mean, I've lived through a house build with these folks. After they dreamed about it our whole lives, like dragging me to the home show and the Parade of Homes, which I think really helped light my fire for this kind of thing. And my dad was always really handy, and he, which is cool, because I saw him, like, he was working alongside our builder always. But yeah, it's just so funny, because people change their minds, and there's timelines and deadlines and cost and change orders. And I say anyone that can make it through a remodel or a new home construction, stay married and, liking each other, and you still like your builder at the end, that's a huge success.
That's a huge success. Well, let's transition into talking about the Big Home Expo. And you've mentioned, being dragged to those, and now you're running those. Right?
Yes, it is quite a logistical nightmare, honestly.
I mean, do you have event planning in your background?
I don't. I really don't.
You just ended up being good at it?
I don't know that I'm good at it. I have a great team that supports me, and they have eye for detail, and they're very dedicated. We have a motto that we don't plan parties or throw events that people don't want to be at. If people show up and they're like, when can I leave? Then we've failed. So we only have fun. We want to have fun. But it's a lot of planning. We are pretty much doing it 365 days a year. We're already talking about next year's and getting ready to kick off planning for that. And it hasn't happened yet.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. The load-in day is pretty special.
Yeah.
It's incredible that we can get all of those big trailers and displays in and set up, because it's all got to be set so that GT Metro can come in and check it out and say it's safe.
Because they have to.
They have to, and thank God they do.
Yeah.
That would be horrible to have a disaster like that. But yeah, it's very stressful, but it's so fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I love being at those shows. Like we pretty much live at the resort for those 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, like 5 a.m., we're beginning that setup process.
Wow. And you are, this is February 14th and 15th.
14th and 15th.
Saturday and Sunday. And there are people out there that just say, it's probably not for me. But it is for them.
It is for everybody.
Like 140-something vendors.
Yeah. So I think it's over 110 individual vendors in almost 160 spaces, 150 spaces. And it runs the gamut from paint companies to siding, roofing, landscaping. There'll be hot tubs.
Oh.
I don't know that they'll have water in them. And if they do, I might be in it.
You
Sorry,
might,
guys.
Oh my gosh, I need a hot tub.
I know I want one really bad.
Right? Especially when it's 0 degrees outside. You're like, maybe I need a hot tub.
I would love it. There's just so much cool stuff. And they're so creative with how they build their booths to showcase their talents.
Yeah.
And it's so important to meet people and talk with them, because it is a long process and it's an important process, and you have to find someone that you feel comfortable with and you trust, because it's a big deal.
And, I think sometimes people get this impression that, because builders are so busy in this area right now, that you just have to go with anyone. You still can, you should.
You should.
And can vet people.
You can. And so the days of like giving your plans to several builders is kind of gone.
Right.
And that's actually like kind of a red flag for a builder
Yeah,
if you're
right.
shopping that around. But if you're taking meetings and talking with them about, like their process and your budget and how that would work, but yes, absolutely. You should vet them. You should meet them. You should talk to a couple different ones to make sure that you found someone that fits your personality.
And talking to them, you're going to get to know them very quickly. That's another thing I think builders are good at is like they are who they are from the beginning. Yep. And if you can envision yourself months down the road still hanging out with this guy, that's your builder.
Yep.
Or this gal. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I see a lot of oftentimes like our members' customers become their friends.
Yeah. Well, they're spending so much time with them,
Yep.
They're doing the marriage counseling.
They are. You learn a lot. You learn a lot.
So it is a 2-day event, 140 plus exhibitors, Grand Traverse Resort and Spa, so much fun anyway.
Yep.
Remodeling, new builds, products, ideas, inspiration, all sorts of stuff, and it's not just building.
It's not just
anything surrounding your home.
Mm-hmm. Insurance, finance, real estate, they're all going to be represented. And all of the trades that you don't even think about, like the welding companies are going to be there. And some of the stuff that they do with their craft is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like the new style for a lot of the light fixtures involves a lot of stainless steel and really intricate welding.
Oh, cool.
And it's so cool.
One of the days is Valentine's Day. My husband and I have a date planned where we're going to go. We're going to shop around, check it out, and then we're going to go maybe have a little late lunch.
Yeah, bring your sweetie to the Home Expo.
I love that.
And there will be 2 opportunities on Saturday and 1 on Sunday to attend a panel discussion being led by a moderator from the HBA. But it's builders, it's suppliers, it's real estate, and it's financing. And it's a great opportunity to get more of your questions answered if you're interested in the discussion we've been having today. And also, it gives a good roadmap of like how to get started.
Sure.
Do I need to talk to an architect or an engineer? And that depends. It depends on your project. And like there are opportunities out there now where there's like approved and stamped plans. So you don't need an engineer in that case. You've got your plans that are already approved through the State Bureau of Construction. So any of the local areas will accept those, and that just gives you a little jump in the line there.
Yeah, right.
But where you get started, and do you work with an interior designer? Like all of those things.
Do you have any, do you know what's like really hot in 2026? I mean, one thing that I remember post-COVID, so many more people were spending time at home.
Yeah.
And they were like, they are working from home a lot more. So really this like home office kind of caught fire for a while.
Yeah.
Is there anything like that you think is true?
Well, I think one of the things that you're seeing in most of the homes that are being designed right now is less of the office, but more flex space.
Nice. Okay.
So that it can be for guests, it can be an office, it can be a home gym. So that is definitely happening. Butler pantries are huge.
I love butler pantries.
I want one so bad.
I do too.
Like, can you imagine if you just like close the door and leave the mess in there?
Yes.
And then like your beautiful kitchen where you can entertain?
I just want a room too that is just my room and no one else can go in it.
I know. Well,
that's going to be new for 2026.
Right?
Just mom rooms.
We're bringing, we brought back the Home Expo in Manistee. We were there last weekend. We had a kind of a rough shake with the weather, but still had a lot of folks come out, and they all had projects. But one of our newest members is Little Valley Homes, and they're modular and manufactured homes. And they have this super cute kit, and it's like a little shed. It's got a shed dormer roof, and it's like all like natural cedar looking, and it's small. I want it.
Just for you.
I do.
In your backyard.
I want it in my backyard, and I want to have the key, and Mike and the kids can't come there unless I invite them.
That's a really great idea.
It's like the new idea for the she shed.
Oh, it is. Yeah. I mean, she sheds they're very cool, and I wanted a she shed too, but that was this is just for me. It's a me shed.
Yeah, I love that.
I love it. That's fantastic.
I would fill it with books
Oh, you
and dogs.
really?
Oh, yeah.
Books and dogs.
And wine.
And wine. I could get behind all of those things. As we're wrapping up here, thank you for telling me a little bit about what's hot in 2026 too, because
Bold colors, wallpaper's coming back.
I know wallpaper is so lovely. I need someone who can put it.
Oh, yeah.
Don't try to install wallpaper.
Don't do it yourself.
There's a couple of things you don't DIY.
Yeah.
And plumbing and
wallpaper. Honestly, heating and cooling.
Never do that. No electrical.
Yeah.
Stay
off the ladders.
I painted my own bedroom, and I'll tell you, every time I look up at that ceiling and I see the
drips. I see the drips.
You shouldn't do your own painting either.
Yep.
All right. Go to the Home Expo.
Go to the Home Expo.
There's going to be someone there for all of your projects. I want to do a little rapid fire here. So this is a quick thing we like to do. Don't overthink it. Just answer. You ready?
I'm ready.
What's one thing people always underestimate in a remodel?
The cost of everything.
Okay.
You have an idea of a budget, talk to a professional.
Right.
It'll really bring things into focus.
That's good. What's one thing that is always worth doing right the first time?
Anything relating to framing or where it needs to be square or plumb.
Yeah. Oh,
if it doesn't line up,
it's not good.
Not good.
Not good.
It's the only thing you'll ever see.
What is your favorite home in a house?
My favorite home in a house?
No, what is your favorite room in a house? Sorry.
I want a library.
Library.
Mm-hmm. The studies with the floor to ceiling bookcases and the slide ladders and the comfy chairs.
Yeah.
And the dark wood.
I love that.
I want a library.
What's a home trend that you're secretly in love with right now?
I love the wallpaper.
Yes?
I really do. I've seen some really bold choices that I'm just like, wow, and it works.
That's so cool. What's a home trend that you're totally over?
I am over like the black and white. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm over the black and white.
Yeah, got it.
And there's some new windows that are coming out that the casements are different colors.
Oh, neat.
Like sky blue. I'm not sure if this is going to be like the olive toilets of the 70s, but they're cool.
Yeah. Honestly, I miss an avocado bathtub. I just do. I'm like,
I like
cool.
it. I like it.
All right. If someone has only 1 hour to spend at the expo, how would they spend it?
See as many people as you can.
Okay.
Yeah. Run the gamut. Be there for longer than an hour.
Yes. Right. The first thing you do is, be there longer than an hour.
And make sure you come say hi to me.
Yes. And you will be there.
I will be there.
You're going to live there that whole time.
Yeah.
I love it.
We will be the ones walking around in the very stylish high-vis vests.
And if someone is listening right now and they're feeling overwhelmed about home projects, what do you say to them?
Take a breather and give me a call. We'll talk it through.
All right, Lauren Tucker, thank you so much for being here. And friends, if you've been putting off the project that you're dreaming about, or maybe an upgrade that you need, or you just want some inspiration, go check out the Traverse City Home Expo at the Grand Traverse Resort, February 14th and 15th. This year. It's happening.
It's very soon.
I'm Christal Frost, and this has been Currently the Conversation, brought to you by TVC Cherry Capital Airport, your Northern Michigan connection, and we will see you next time.